What was your relationship with the northern structure?
Oh man, back then, like in the '90s, it was strong. We had a good relationship. I had a lot of good friends. They come to me, they'll tell me the politics. Hey, so this what they gonna do. You talking about the
Hey
Mexicans
man, you're
here.
not in prison right now. You can speak up.
I can speak up. I know I'm over here like in chat. No, so I had good Norteño buddies. I mean, they'll give you the spiel if you was in danger or if something was gonna jump off against the blacks. Say for instance the Southsiders, right, was having an issue and they were plotting and planning on something, to do something, and they hear about it. They come over there. Then we holler at them. They slide us, it was tight. Share weapons and all that good stuff, spreads.
I got two questions that pop in my head with that. When, since you know Spanish, and whenever there's a racial conflict, you're able to let the brothers know what's being spoken. Have you been in a situation like that?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Yes.
For real.
They hated me for that. Once they found out, sometimes like, nah, man, I don't know Spanish. They want to be cool, but they looking out for theirs. So now, as you grow up, you understand it better. I didn't knock that. It was when they started like doubting, even though I was lying, what I'm saying. But I mean, this how it go. They'll ask me, then they'll ask me again, then they'll send somebody else will come and ask me, but I'm like, nah. I said, poquito, poquito. Yeah.
Fuck that. We speak Swahili, homie.
Yeah.
That's Walla shit.
Another question when you bring up Norteños, what popped in my mind also, because since down south you have Southsiders, you have blacks that grow up in Southsider neighborhoods and end up being in the Southside clique.
Okay.
Is that the same? Have you ever bumped into a black Norteño? A black guy growing up in a Mexican northern neighborhood?
Yes.
They have black Norteños.
Yeah, they have black Norteños. They have quite a few. They there.
How are they treated?
Shit, they treated with, from what I see, with a lot of love.
What about from the brothers up north? Do they look at them sideways or funny?
Not too much, but they do have they criterion, against some of them. But for most of it, man, they may even say that's my relative, that's my cousin over there, and that's how it be. They just.
I want to pull back just a little bit. Growing up in Compton, you were speaking on breakdancing and all that. Were you guys doing the whole Skateland USA thing? Was that part of your?
Oh yeah.
That was your thing.
Yeah, that was
That was the homie. This his era.
That's his era.
Yeah. I don't know if he was dancing and strutting and doing all that, Rob. But he.
Mexican Rob, you was at Skateland on the skates doing your thing, man.
No, I ain't gonna say I was skating.
We was all that skate land.
I think you was too young.
You're a goddamn lie. I was a skate land. I didn't go do those.
I forgot to ask you, Mexican Rob, do you speak Spanish?
Nah.
Did the household you came up in speak Spanish?
My grandmother did, but my grandmother spoke more English. But like when my grandmother spoke Spanish, and she got on me, I knew what the fuck she was saying. You know what I mean? But somebody else come talk Spanish, I'm like, what the fuck you talking about?
We really didn't dive into your upbringing in Compton, like what school you went to and that whole little journey. You want to break that down for us?
Yeah, so I went to Laura Street School, elementary school. Then I went to junior high back when it was Davis Junior High, now Davis Middle School. From there I went to the 10. So you see the pattern. It's like this is where if you about this Piru blood thing, it's gonna bring you through that way on our side. So it's Centennial, you know what I'm saying? That's where all the B-Dogs go. If you Damu, you go to the 10, as far as Compton. And so that was my route. I went to the 10, and shoot, it was on and popping then too. It was just.
What years are we speaking when you're at the 10?
I'm class of 92, so we talking about 90, 91, 92.
So what were the racial relationships during your era in Compton? Were blacks and browns getting along? Was there friction? Was it all love? A combination of both? What was going on?
it was more like there was a little friction in Compton with certain black and brown neighborhoods, right? We didn't have it too much on the Piru side. You know, they were kind of like they functioned with us a little more than they did with the Crips. But as time went on, you can tell that, you know, there was something there that they didn't like about Mexicans, Hispanics, / whatever, coming over to the black side and really be about it. Like, you have lunch, you over there where blacks are. You know, you went out to play, like football, basketball. That's who you practice with. That's who you train with, right? But it was kind of there. It's just not spoken of a lot. It was so many more blacks then, right? We had more like it was a force, and you don't want to say too much, you know what I'm saying? Because then it gets out, and then it's like, well, shit, like, you know what y'all want to do, and it comes to that. It comes to that.
One thing, your era is more closer to the racial wars on the streets than Mexican rob. So you kind of were on the front line when relationships deteriorated and went to shit.
I was.
What's your opinion on what was the straw that broke the camel's back? When did it go to shit and why?
Well, it cost me 17 years of my life, you know, and you know, because I was a major component, and I was there. It wasn't because of hate. It was because of love. See, people go to war because of love sometimes. And I just couldn't stand that my homies, right, would be hurt and me stand on the side. All this time that we done, all this care, all this love, all this investment that was put on me, all these little house, you know what I'm saying, dinners that I've had with my friends, and their parents got to know me, and we share love. And then all of a sudden, there's a racial war, and you know where to be found. Or you split, you know what I'm saying, the wig. You know, you had no part in your hair. Now you got a part in it. You know, so what I'm trying to say about that, I just remain wholesome. So yeah, it was a situation where, again, it called on me, and it was a challenge and a test. Like, do you ride, or do you stand back and see it happen? So I did. You know, I got on my horse, saddled up, yeah, and went.
You want to go get on one of his horses?
Yeah, I'm saying.
You want to jump in, man?
I just want to ask you, when you talked about basketball and sports, did you play handball with the Mexicans?
No.
Are you talking school or penitentiary?
Penitentiary.
Yeah, no. That was a no-no. That was a violation on their side and our side. But we did play with some Norteños. Yeah, it was cool. Sometimes they'll rally up, get their crew, and like, yeah, we better. Okay, let's find out who's the best. But nah, yeah, man, they would have got disciplined worse. Sure. Yeah, like hell no, they don't even step out of that.
So back to the early '90s on the streets. What was the dominant Hispanic gang in the Fruittown, Piru area when you were growing up? Who was the main hitters in that area?
You know what? On our side, until it went bad, well, shoot, you know the story, the confrontation, you know, between the Fruit Towns and the T Flats. So when it went bad with those two hoods, right? Now, what was happening around it, it's been happening. You got hitters, you got SA hoods that's been around long as the city of Compton has been around, right? And they've had their time and their turn. But on our side, what goes bad is, I guess, at my time, that was the bad. That was the two, you know.
So when that beef with the Flats kicked off, it was first with the Fruit Towns, and the Treetops wasn't involved in the initial kickoff. It was between you guys.
Yes, that's correct.
At that time, What was y'all relationships with the treetops?
It was still.
Route
No, it
cancer,
was
that.
so-
Fruit trees.
Yeah.
It was fruit trees.
It was fruit trees, right? That was the glue of the crayons right there. Like the crayons was like, this fruit trees. This is what you meet up with. You know, when they start going bad with the homies, you know, Fruit Towns and the T-Flat, it just went bad with, you know, on our side. They were trees, you know, they were there and nothing, you know, they didn't have
My
that.
question is, did they sat it out initially and let you guys go blow for blow? That's my question.
Initially, because there had been other things in the past that were kind of like, you know, breaking into our union and being sound minded about who we are and how we should stand. Yeah, it was kind of like, man, they bring the noise to the fruits, so the fruits responded. Before that, they had an issue with the West Sides. This is the T-Flats, you know, and they squashed their beef and they thought, okay, well, shit, we're gonna take over this area in this hood. I don't know why they thought that, but that's what they was, you know.
What year did the flats and the fruits go to war? What year was that?
I'm gonna say 1996, 7. What do you think, bro?
That shit started like 91, 92.
That's when it started going bad on that scale.
Well, when I say bad, not skirmishes. When did it go to a point of no return? When the chipping started, and it was like, okay, there ain't no squashing this one.
Yeah.
94, 95. Shit, man, it just been going.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Shit all.
And what year?
98
Yeah.
and 99.
It started hitting the news around 98, 97, and they started making those specials on it.
99, 2000, 2001, 2000. Oh man, it was
Yeah.
heck.
So
That's
what?
when it was all out in the 2000s.
So coming from your guys' point of view, blacks like to say everything is a race war, race war. You guys being Mexicans in a black gang, did you guys look? How did you guys look at it being Mexican in a black gang? It couldn't have been racial from your perspective.
Hell, I was getting the same treatment the brothers was getting. Shit.
Was it more of a gang war or a race war?
It was gang war. There was nothing.
Right.
It was nothing racial until we hit the system.
Yeah.
It was gang wars in the streets.
It's gang wars, but it's got its racial fuel in it.
Overtone to it.
Yeah, because I mean, what they doing as a whole, they backing up that barrio. We backing up this hood, but there is a race. You know,
component.
At the end of the day, yeah, somebody is from a race. So the dominant race in a black neighborhood, well, you know what it is: African Americans, blacks. So we involved, you know, and we interwoven with that same fabric now. But you don't see us that much, you know what I'm saying, until it's time to go. If you go, you know.
When did Treetop get sucked into that war? How long did it take before they realized that they're not going to be able to sit on the sidelines on this one?
When them motherfuckers murdered over there in their hood.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the year. I was in the pig when that shit started.
So
Yeah.
look, Flats' actual neighborhood is more on the Treetop side than Fruittown, or they scattered all through that joint.
Yeah, they kind of scattered.
Scattered all around.
Yeah, they scattered.
They're on both sides of Rosecrans.
Motherfuckers over there, way over there off of Santa Fe. Shit.
So
Yeah.
they
They was over there in the
play
Santa Fe Mafia and shit.
they play both sides of Rosecrans.
Right.
That had to be a real messy war,
Yeah.
man. That's neighbor to neighbor type shit, right?
It's ugly, man, because they know where we at most of the day. You got few here, few there. They got in Paramount. They may be, so you know they get to scope it out. You know from the okay, they know the hood well. So this is predominantly where we've been and where we are today. Most of us. Well, some of us, you know, and most of us is just, you know what I'm saying, we come back, we come home, but what did that, you're right, when the conflict started with
Turned
them.
into the plug. That's when it turned up.
they
Shit.
they started putting pressure on the homies over here, you know, in the trees, trying to dictate or call themselves making, you know, putting pressure and dictating on, you know, on their blocks and what they gonna do and what they want. They want shit, so they went up. You know, they were like,
You kind of spoke in code there. They was dictating who could serve on what block. Is that what?
well, who can run this neighborhood? You know, side of the neighborhood. You know, and it's been fruit trees from the get go. You know, as far as I understand it.
When you say run a neighborhood, what do you mean? Where people can hang out, where people can sell dope, or what does that mean?
Well, if somebody dictates what you can do, right, or what you are allowed to do, right, where you bought a home, where you bled, sweat, bang, went to school, whatever, and suddenly you having someone come tell you, you know, it's a new day. You know, this part here is us, and that part you is what? Shit, this part has always been us. Now you're gonna cram somebody up into a little area, and then from there, see, this is the same political manipulation that is in prison. You know, this is your side, this is our side. Y'all don't come on our side, and then if we come on our side, we need that piece over there because it's more of us, and we need to, you know, saying we need to gain more room, and that's the same thing.
Well, I'm looking at the years you guys are saying these wars kicked off, and then I'm looking at the years when they instituted their tax system and they stopped beefing with each other. It sounds about right around the same time. So they basically pulled that penitentiary program to the streets of Compton.
Right. But there was never a tax that I know that was paid.
Right, of course not.
It was never, you know what I'm saying? That tax is still.
I mean, as far as saying where people can be and function and all that shit that you just ran by. But let me ask you something.
That's the language.
You said you spent 17 years of your life behind that. Can we speak on that, or is that a?
No, we can speak on that. I'm a free man, and it wasn't easy as far as, you know, you being away from home, being, you know, not being in society, you know, hearing how the world changes. You know, you have, when I was in there serving my time, I did it because there were homies who are here today. And we here today because we can say that we had each other back in the streets. When it counted, when it had to count, right? It counts everywhere you go. If we in the desert, you my home, it counts. You know, we go and make it back to a civilization, it counts. But what counts to me is saying, man, when there's a war that kicks off, there's a lot of people that, you know, you don't see. You don't find them around, you know, like you would if there was just a regular a day or whatever. Everybody have a different era, different epoch, you know. What changed that.
I want to know what crime sent you to the penitentiary
What crime
for 17 years.
Oh, what crime sent me? It was, man, I liked guns. I was a shooter, you know, and I try to stay away from them, man, you know, because they stick to my fingers sometimes, bro. It's some real, you know, you got that adrenaline, man. It's something about that. So I know things change, you know, life changes, you know. It's like we growing up, but I was a shooter, bro. I didn't, you know, I was coming off rooftops. I was climbing up, you know, buildings and just like a Marine. I don't know why I did that. I never was a Marine. I didn't go to the Army, but I was doing little stuff like that got me thinking like, you know, this is a 24/7 job right here, man.
So I got a question, because most Mexicans from a predominantly black hood are down as fuck. Do you feel like you have to outperform a lot of the brothers to be accepted?
You know, you asked me that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's probably some truth in that. Someone brought it up, someone said it, and I'm gonna say, to some point, yes.
Sure.
You know, I had to say, I'm gonna hang out. I mean, you know, this is, you know, you got some silverbacks. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's like, you know, when they was going, like, man, you gotta be even twice if you can, you know, and go that hard. because you don't want to be left behind. You don't want to allow too much room with your enemy and your close ones, where something can come and slide through it, because you a target from the beginning. You already a target. You told the world, man, I'm a target. Okay, we got you. We know you're a target. So now it's just a matter of time. So what do? You just go hard. You keep going. Be in the front line. Go with that first wave. You know, be that first thunder. You know, don't wait till after the storm and you try to get in the puddles and like you gonna wet up, you know, your feet a little bit. Yeah, I was there, man. It was ugly. It was no.
Are you asking me about the penitentiary or the streets?
He answered either one. It don't matter.
Because I was more under.
It's both. It's both.
Okay,
yeah,
because
it's like it's
you coming from a gang that has a nice size Mexicans in there. You really don't have to prove yourself like that because you got comrades that kind of fit you. But like in our area, we probably have one or two Mexicans that may be under that pressure to outperform the brothers because they solo in the mix. Where you guys are kind of got a group of you guys in the same neighborhood.
Well, don't not seeing it as a proof, like not looking at it like we trying to prove, but going twice as hard or going hard or harder to me means that I'm not proving that I can go with you and go as hard as you, but in myself, for my safety, to know I learned this, I'm gonna have to go twice as hard because I want twice the impact, I want twice the credit, and I want twice of everything I did. Because if I ever have a shortcoming in life, man, bring them chips up, man. Let me see what I stacked up, man. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, I slipped up a little. How did I slip up? Or I wasn't there because I was 3 seconds, you know what I'm saying, from the time it really. I said, look, man, it's, you know, but, you know, it's just twice is all the time.
So we stopped with you at the county jail when the blood got at you and asked you if you was on board. So now you in the penitentiary, and when you first hit the yard, what's your first experience hitting these yards?
My first experience from hitting the yard? Shit,
and where'd you land first?
My first time I went to prison, I landed at Avenal, GP. That's when it was, you know, it was general population. It's a different time, Avenal, right now. So when I landed, when I landed there, shit, it was homies already. They knew you knew somebody. You came in the dorm. They always have like a trustee, you know what I'm saying? Like, where y'all from? Where you from? Oh, yeah, you got a homie over there. Man, you got a homie. Oh, over here, homie. We got a bed for you. That kind of stuff. So it was pretty much from there on. It was just, you know, you with it.
Like Mexican Rob was saying, he was being asked when he hit certain yards, Rasa or what?
Oh,
you being hit up with that also?
Yeah, I was asked that in the county a couple of times. You know, I was looked at a certain way. You know, a couple of homies, a couple of blacks were like, what's up, man? You black? They were from both sides. I'm like, yeah. Where you from, homie? Oh, well, okay. FDP, they get their hood up. They're like, all right. And then I get a vibe that they may want to test. You know, they want to test it. Like, you gonna stay down for the time. So I'm ready for that. I'm ready to fight. Cause I'm like, no, I don't like the way that he hit me up. Right? That was kind of like a, you know what I'm saying, like a two-edged sword. Like, yeah, you from this, you with this here. But then shit, man, when I see you, you already know, homie. We enemies. So I was like, okay, I'm ready for that. But it was kind of that. So I went to the pen. A couple of people asked me, you know, they was like, hey man, you run black? What are you, man? You know, mind you, I had hair. I had like this long curly hair of mine, you know, back then. So, and you know, I was just like with the way it was the script. It's Piru. That's what the older homies said, man. When you go in there, say, Suave, look, man, you're hard. You going that way. You're gonna go and you're gonna hit the pin. Homies his age, the homie Mexican Rob age and older or some, you know, they'll tell me they've been to YA, whatever. You're gonna hit the pin, homie. And you say, this is what you tell them. When they ask you who you are, what you going to just say it's Piru. That's what I knew. So that's what I said.
So have there been any, have the Southsiders ever tried to push you up off the yard or tell the brothers you had to get up off the yard?
No, not me, per se, but they have done and attempted that. with other cats. You know, I don't know if they saw a difference in them. Like, man, maybe we got a shaking one right here. Push up on him, tell him, man, but it was all politics, you know. So it was like, nah, man, you ain't going nowhere. So if the Crips had a Mexican Crip, and we learned about that as blacks, we backed that. You know, this was the structure. They had to go first though. Like, homie, y'all with, you know, your homie, this your homie, y'all together. Like, yeah, man, they tripping, they won't. So what y'all gonna do? I said, man, you already know. Take off. And we take off behind them because eventually it goes to that. In some cases, not in all cases, but sometimes it's like, shit, you attack one black, brothers got to stay strong in there, man. It was fewer blacks than it is Mexican, Hispanics, and then you have the white boys that collaborate, you know, with the Southsiders, you know.